Hey Swig Squad, T with the Diva here. I got a Storytime-Office Chronicle for y'all. This story time is about when I got suspended right before I got fired. This was in October. The October before the March that I got fired. So my supervisor was the union steward. The union steward girl that I ran against for union steward, and she beat me by one vote. Who ended up becoming my supervisor later on. One day, I was at work, and my baby got sick, and I had to leave. So I had a Muslim friend that I work with. And that was my Muslim friend is the one who I walked up to as soon as the union steward told me that I was about to get terminated. I ran up to her desk and was like, they about to fire me. And she was like, no. But anyway, so this is my Muslim friend. So I walked up to her and I said, girl, I gotta go. You're sick. My supervisor was in a meeting. So this was nothing new, guys. This is not the first, second, or 15th time I had done this. You can leave. If you got PT and you let somebody know you're leaving, you can leave. So I told her that she was sick or whatever, and I left. So later on that day, the supervisor called me on my cell phone and said, Tanisha, where you at? I said, oh, I'm gone. I said, I told my Muslim friend, I told her to let you know that I was leaving and you was in a meeting. She said, oh my God, girl, they losing their mind. I said, what's wrong? She said, the BIT, the manager lady, she was the worst. She said she running around here like a chicken with her head cut off, talking about where is she, that's an unauthorized leave, and I'm about to do this and I'm about to do that. I said, okay. She said, well, I'll just see you tomorrow. I'll talk to you about it tomorrow. So I'm like, okay. So I get in the next day, and she like, girl, she's so mad at me. Now, mind you, the union steward girl didn't only have a big mouth as the union steward. She had a big mouth, period. So she would tell us that was going on in their meetings, in their private meetings, in the supervisor meetings, and let everybody know who they was gunning for next. Like, she was help for us, but they hated her. The managers, the director, all of them, they hated her because nothing was confidential. Well, y'all hired her to fire me, and y'all knew that she didn't keep nothing confidential, so shame on y'all. But anyway, she was like, girl, she's so mad at me because I called you. So evidently, when they asked her where I was and had I left for the day and she didn't know, they thought that she was just going to let me walk in there blind, because that's another thing. They always wanted to sneak you. It was always about a sneaky one-up you, sneak dish you, sneak. Like, it was always a sneaky tactic that had to go on. It was like they always wanted to kind of like sneak up on you, and like they can't let nothing out in the open, and they got to just make sure that they whisper about it, and it's whispering time, and everybody going around whispering. So anyway, she wasn't supposed to call me and alert me that they were upset about my unauthorized leave. So I said, what happened? What? I said, I told the girl, my coworker, I said, I told her I was leaving. I told her to let you know. She said she did. She told me. But it was after they had asked her about me. And then, of course, she couldn't go back and say, oh, she had told such and such, because they weren't going to believe that. They were going to look at that like, yeah, right, you just trying to cover up for her and blah, blah, blah. Well, y'all the ones who hired her to get rid of me. This was y'all science experiment. What, things aren't going y'all way? What's wrong? So anyway, my union steward at the time was my brother. I call him my brother because he dated one of my best friends. But he was so emotional. He was real emotional. And he hated how they used to treat me. So he would be in the meetings cussing, fussing. Like, I would have to calm him down. Like, dog, one of us need a job. I mean, we both need a job, but we both can't be fired. Like, he would just be jumping up and down, mad, like heated. He would be mad, cussing, fussing. He was my union steward at the time. So I call him down. I say, brother, they gunning for me again. He said, what the fuck going on? What they? And he was real militant, like Malcolm X militant. Like, I only like people my color militant. I don't care. I don't like nobody no other color than me. Period. But I explained the situation, and I told him, you know, Anya got sick. I had to leave. I went over and talked to such and such because such and such was in a meeting. And he said, okay, what's the problem? What they gonna say? I said, well, you know, the supervisor telling me that they got an issue and they got a problem and they mad. He's like, what the fuck they mad about now? What's the problem? It's always something. They ain't say last week when such and such left and didn't say. Nobody asked me to come to no meeting then. They full of shit. They always trying to railroad you and make you try to abide by some rules they don't make nobody else abide by. I said, well, you know, that's how they do. So he goes and he talks to him. And I think my supervisor ended up going in that meeting and she talked to him. So they both came out and they both told me they want to suspend you. They want to do a 5-day suspension. I think they really wanted to fire me then, but they were so mad that the supervisor had called me on my cell phone to alert me that they fired her. Like, they didn't fire her because she was non-union. So what ended up happening to her is they got rid of her, and the cool manager guy, the black guy who was the manager first, that was always digging me out of a ditch or cussing me out about something, he, like I said, I wasn't the only one he looked out for like that. He looked out for everybody like that. And he created a position for her. So the BIT manager, the black lady, who was she was the worst. She was the devil reincarnate. And so she let her go. She do not want her on her team. She didn't want her as a supervisor. So the manager, the guy, he just told her to just clean her desk out and come over there with him. He gave her he ended up creating a position and giving it to her. But anyway, rewind back, go back to with me. So they're in their meeting. So they come to me and they say I think they wanted to turn me. But my brother was like, they can't do that because this is the first time you ever did this and this and this and this. So he was like fighting it back and forth. And like, you just let such and such just left and it wasn't an unauthorized leave. What was the difference in that? So, you know, of course, they came up with something that was different. Probably my name started with a T and hers started with the letter R. It was just something trivial and minute because when I did anything, it was magnified times 1,000,000. So they said she gonna be suspended for 5 days with no pay. We gonna terminate her. She gotta be suspended. She gotta know that she can't just leave That's an unauthorized leave. I'm like, do you know how many times I've done this? Like this, I've done this. Like this is not a new thing. But this was, of course, when they wanted to fast track this I want her fired thing. So that's why it was like 20 on 10 with everything that I did, or everything that they thought I did, and going through my work all the time and looking through stuff to see if I did stuff right, and staying after all night to go through everything that I did in the computer that day to make sure that I didn't shortcut nothing or blindside nothing or make up nothing or work nothing around. It was just always extra work done to make sure that I was in my place, so to speak. So we had the day that we had our suspension meeting. We goes in the meeting. It's me, my brother, I don't think the manager was in there. I don't think she was in there. I think just my supervisor. And I'm thinking it was more than just us. But we did the paperwork, and I had to go. I had to give them my ID. And I was suspended for 5 days because they said that I had an unauthorized leave where I did not get permission. Of course, you don't have to get permission. You don't. I had never gotten permission before. I'm not gonna say I never did. I did get permission sometimes when it was a situation that warranted me to have to get permission, but this was an emergency. So as long as you just let somebody in the building know that you're leaving and you want to take PT and you have PT to take, that's usually just a go. But this was during a time that, unbeknownst to me, that they were ready to get rid of me. But that supervisor, that same girl, told me, Tanisha, you need to try to find something else to do. She was like, girl, they are gunning for you. I am out of my position because I gave you a heads up. She was like, they want you so bad that they can literally taste it. She would just tell me like, girl, they don't like you. They do not want you here. And I never knew it was this bad until I got into this particular seat. So she cleaned out her office, and she just would always tell me like they not gonna do nothing to support you. They not gonna do nothing to help push you over. Whereas they would try to, assist somebody else who might have been coming up a little short, to try to like boost them up some, or get them a little more help, to try to help them pull their way along. They would never do that for me. So yeah, I got suspended for that, and that was half of the reason why when I got in trouble in March, that there was nothing. So October, November, December, January, February, March, that was only 5 months. So usually if there was a 6-month period plus between your violations, I'll say, if you had like 6 months in between, it could restart the track, so to speak. But it wasn't even 6 months. It was October, November, December, January, February. It was 5. So I was just stuck between the rock and a hard place, because that was something that helped them, speed up that process. That was something that allowed them to stick a fork in me. So yeah, I got suspended for something that I had been already doing for years. And I had just been notified that day that, yeah, you can't do that no more. I'm like, so you don't want to just tell me I can't do that no more? Like, no, we're gonna suspend you now and tell you can't do that no more. I know you have been doing it, but you can't do that no more. Yeah, there's your heads up. You're welcome. So yeah, that was another headache that I dealt with. It was just so much. It was always something. But yeah, I'm sure I have more of those in my arsenal. Just waiting for me to share with you. Thank you, Swig Squad. I thank you all for your support and your love and your attention. Please continue to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Thank y'all so much. This is Tea with the Diva.